Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the 2025 Ram 1500 RHO. Now Ram was nice enough to send me this truck for a week to actually get my first experience behind the wheel of the RHO. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go to the basically the media launch event for it. And this is really the first time I've been able to drive one. And it's good because I actually get to spend a lot of time with it this week. So that's kind of good. We're going to be doing a lot of different things, going up north to northern Michigan with it and stuff like that. So I'm going to be able to give you my full actual and driving impressions of this thing and put a lot of miles on it. So that's kind of cool. The other thing is, a lot of people have had questions about this truck. A lot of people think like, hey, it's a replacement for the TRX. And honestly, it's not. It's kind of its own thing. A lot of people are complaining like, hey, the Hurricane, the 3-liter high output Hurricane, which only has a 540 horsepower, is simply not as good as the Hellcat. Well, it's a totally different beast. Totally different beast. Obviously, the Hellcat was pretty impressive with the TRX, but this thing, you got to think of it as, instead of having that Raptor R fighter with the TRX, now you have a Raptor fighter. And if you put this up against the standard F-150 Raptor, this thing blows it out of the water. So basically what we got here is the same exact package that we had with the TRX. 13 inches of suspension travel, same exact shocks, except for the main core difference is obviously the transmission and the engine. But we do get some changes for 2025. Obviously, we get these new headlights, these new LED headlights, which look awesome. Love the look of it. We do get a new face. So the new grille, the grille is actually bigger than the outgoing truck, which I actually like this grille better than the TRX grille. It looks more menacing. It opens up a lot more cooling for the Hurricane too. And again, being a Hurricane, it's not a Hemi. So if you listen real quietly right here, you'll hear it almost sounds like a diesel. And that's because it's direct injection. So you hear that little injector tick. But nonetheless, looks really good up front. Still has the TRX's clearance lights, so that's cool. Heavy duty tow hooks, metal tow hooks up front. This one is, again, Ram always sends fully loaded trucks. This one really is fully loaded, but it only is missing a couple options. One is the panoramic sunroof, and actually it's not like a deal breaker because I love the panoramic sunroof, but it actually gives you more headroom in the cab with not having it. But nonetheless, I mean, we still get these really nice Ram. See, the truck's dirty because of all the snow and that, but you see little Easter eggs everywhere, just like you did with the TRX. I do like these silver painted beadlock wheels. They look great with the actual bright silver paint scheme on this truck. Now you can get towing mirrors, but these are the standard mirrors, and these actually are fine. I love these mirrors. Not too big, not too small. Blind spot monitoring. Truck has a 360 camera. That's nice. It does have these rock sliders on it. They're nice, but if you have a hard time getting up into four-wheel drive trucks like my wife will be, you have to like kind of step up over them. A lot of people won't like that. Inside, it does have massaging seats for 2025, which are really nice. If you look through, not much has changed really. We do get a passenger screen, that 10.25 inch passenger screen over there. We do get the new 14.5 inch Uconnect system. I don't know. I think it's kind of a waste of space, really. I'm going to do another article on that because honestly, compared to the 12 inch sat flush in the dash. I don't like how it sits up. Kind of looks like a tablet. But the interesting part is here is you lose your physical buttons, and now you have actual, like the screen's actual buttons. So do you really get a 14.5 inch screen? Probably not. It's probably more realistically another 12 inch screen. Same console mounted shifter. You get the big digital gauge cluster. And one really cool thing that they did that's really nice is they got new door controls. So basically these buttons are different for 2025. They feel a lot better, and they just look really actually they look more upscale. So that's kind of nice too. I do love the tooling in the truck. It does have like this really nice machined look. And then over here on the center stack, it looks like it's like this satin brushed aluminum, which looks really nice too. Of course, on the back of the truck, it says RHO. And a lot of people have asked, what the heck does RHO mean? It really doesn't have a meaning. Ram never gave us what it means to them. And a lot of people have said, oh, it means Ram high output. Well, to me, it would probably mean Rebel high output, because honestly, compared to the Rebel, you're getting the high output model instead of the standard output Hurricane engine, and you get a little more off-road. But there is no real meaning behind the RHO name. There is, Ram does call it, like how they played with the TRX name. If you look on the center console, there's a badge, and you can see there's a rhino on there. So they do call it the Rhino. It's kind of like a play on the RHO name. At the back, we do get those new taillights, and on this truck, they are the LED ones. You can see there's a little Easter egg in there. I am not a huge fan of these taillights. I like the design of the old ones better, but just something to change it up. The only disappointing thing for 2025 to me is until you step up to the RHO or the Limited, you really don't get the LED tail lamps at all. You used to be able to get them on Bighorns and higher models, but now they're halogens. You have to step up to an RHO to get them. You do have a recovery hook back here and massive 5-inch dual exhaust tips. I mean, look at how big my fist is compared to the exhaust. And of course, you can kind of hear that noise. It doesn't sound like a Hemi, but 540 horsepower is nothing to complain about. I think a lot of people are complaining kind of for nothing. You got to remember, this isn't a Raptor R Fighter. This is not a replacement for the TRX. You know, Ram has kind of teased us and said, if you go on Mopar Insiders and actually read some of the articles that we've posted, when they announced this truck, they kind of had a little Easter egg saying that there was another high output off-road Ram coming. So we believe that's going to be the actual replacement for the TRX. And there's been words saying, like rumors, meaning about a possible higher output version of the Hurricane engine. So maybe we'll get something 700 plus horsepower in a Hurricane option. Yeah, it doesn't sound like a Hemi, but this thing is like no slouch. It gets up and goes pretty easy. The only weird thing is, you know, being a small displacement engine, it's got that weird sound. But this engine, just driving it the last 25 miles in this setup, is super smooth. I will say the Ram engineers do an excellent job calibrating the 8 HP 75 8-speed automatic transmission. I had that same exact transmission in my 5.7, and in here, it basically doesn't even feel like it shifts. It's that smooth. So this truck, again, if you look, same exact Black Hawk Bilstein shock absorbers that the TRX had, same exact suspension setup and everything. But now, just think of it as an F-150 Raptor fighter. Not the Raptor R, but the Raptor fighter. Pricing for this truck starts at $69,995 in the States. And yeah, if you might recall that price, that was the original price for the 2021 Ram 1500 TRX. So, yeah, I think this truck should, honestly, it's not a bad deal considering how much trucks are now, but all trucks are overpriced, and I would love to see this thing come down at least $5,000 in price. You know, the thing is, if you look at this truck, you're going to go buy a Laramie. Honestly, if you really want the off-road look, a Laramie now, if you start equipping a Laramie pickup, it's easily closer to above $70,000. So if you want one of these trucks that's not fully loaded, like this one, that's not a level 2 package, it starts out at $69,995. It's actually not a bad deal. But once you start clicking the option boxes, this thing gets expensive really, really quick. To me, if you want that powertrain and you want that off-road capability, you still get a 12-inch screen with the $69,995 deal. but you get a more simple interior. You don't get the passenger screen and all and whatnot in the fancy dash, but you know what? You still get the center console shifter and all the goodies. Not the massaging seats or anything, but you know what? Really, to me, with a family and all that, it's just more stuff to get broke. I don't think it's a bad deal in its base formation and being $69,995, but again, I would love to drive that truck and see how it is compared to this fully loaded one. But nonetheless, we're gonna have fun with it. If you want to see certain things, obviously I'm gonna not beat the hell out of this truck because it's not mine. But if you want to see certain things, you know, like mileage, you know, how good is it in certain weather conditions, whatever, take and put the comments below. I'd love to hear it. Again, we're gonna have it all week. The weather might be getting a little you know, rainy and snowy coming up this week, so who knows. But nonetheless, I'm gonna probably do a 100-mile loop with this thing to see how it does on fuel economy on the highway and city driving. I do a mixed loop, and there's gonna be a whole bunch of different content on this thing. So if you want to see something specific, or you want to have an answer to a question you might have about the Ram 1500 RHO for 2025, write it down in the comments below and I'll be more than happy to answer it. So until then, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.